So here's my one pot. It's a big pot, but you can use any soup pot. This is one of those big old heavy, I don't know what it is. Big old, I can't even read what that says on the bottom. But anyway, big old heavy pot, any size you want. And we're gonna start with our meat. Now, you need to remember, if you have watched very long, how I do hamburger magic. Do you remember hamburger magic? Hey, Catherine. Hamburger magic is you take your big old tube, your bot, pardon me, big old tube of hamburger meat. That's what I do. You can buy any kind of hamburger meat you want. You put it in a double boiler, right? Where you've got the holes in the bottom, little strainer basket. You put the hamburger meat in there, season it if you want. Salt and pepper is what I normally do, and that's it. So, and that way I can use it for Italian stuff or Mexican stuff or whatever. You let it steam. The meat steams, and about every 5 minutes you take your wooden spoon and you beat it, just to break it up. Put the lid back on, and then poof, in about 15, 20 minutes, you have all of your hamburger meat done. You dump that on a baking dish, like a baking sheet, just to let it cool. Then once it's cool, you put it in zip top bags or freezer bags. Make sure they're freezer bags. And then I put them in the freezer. So this is like 2 pounds of hamburger meat all ready to go. I just took it out of the freezer and put it on defrost in the micro, and here we go. So if you have to cook hamburger meat, I am so sorry, you need about 2 pounds. Again though, this is one of those recipes that if you have to cook for a lot of people or you're trying to save money, this is one of those recipes that you could either not use any meat at all, because we're gonna use a lot of beans, or you can only use a pound of hamburger meat. And because of everything else in here, nobody will feel slighted at all. Could you use chicken in this recipe? Of course you can. Could you use turkey in this recipe? Of course you can. All right, you ready? So here we go. Could you use sausage in this? Yeah, any cooked meat, any meat that you've already cooked. So there we go. This is a big dump recipe. Now I did cook one thing when I walked in the door, and you know that I start every recipe. I don't care how dumpy it is, even if I'm using store-bought sauce, spaghetti sauce, or store-bought whatever it is, I start every recipe with the mirepoix. And so I cut up an onion, 2 stalks of celery, 2 carrots, little garlic, saute that in a skillet, poof. Well, I had to do that too. First thing I did when I walked in the door. So there you go. So it isn't a traditional just dump. I have to do this, but you don't have to. To me, it's another level of flavor, and I just think that's important for me. All right, and then to me, that's what gives it the homemade taste, right? And so you're like, oh, it's just a bunch of cans. But now, when you have all this in there, it gives it the homemade taste. So there you go. Okay, now the rest of it is a bunch of cans. Okay, so here's what we're gonna start with. We're gonna start with the red products. Now, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna use, and then I'm gonna tell you what you can use if you don't have everything that I have, okay? I'm gonna start with a can of crushed tomatoes. Crushed. Why? Because this kind of gives me more of a sauce that I'm making, okay? So there's the can of crushed tomatoes. How big? This is, just a regular size, 15 ounces, okay? Can of crushed tomatoes. Then I'm gonna use a can of diced tomatoes. Now these are the petite diced tomatoes, but it doesn't really matter, okay? So again, I'm building sauce here. And then, lots of tomatoes. I'm using a can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. Now, if you don't have this and you have a can of green chilies, you can just pop that in there, right? If you have the big cans of this stuff, you can pop that in there. You don't have any of this, right? Use a can of salsa. Use like a whole jar of salsa. Just dump that puppy in there. And it doesn't matter what kind of salsa. Just dump it in there. Okay, so now we did 3 cans of tomatoes. We did crushed tomatoes, we did petite diced tomatoes, and we did diced tomatoes with green chilies, okay? That's a lot. We could just eat this, couldn't we? But no. Then you have an option. A lot of recipes call for corn, but I like to do things a little different, and somebody in my house does not like corn. And so we're gonna use hominy. Now this is white hominy. I'll show you what it looks like, right? I normally have a whole history lesson. And today, because I literally just walked in the door, I do not. But there, can you see the hominy? kind of hard to see, but it's corn. I mean, it's basically corn. And so there you go. It's what we make grits out of. Did you watch My Cousin Vinny? What's a grit? You don't know what a grit is? Anyway, all right, so instead of using corn, I'm gonna use grits. I'm gonna use canned hominy. You can use white hominy, yellow hominy, or you can use canned corn. Mexican corn, green corn, white corn, Mexican corn, whatever you got, put that in there. Now come the beans. Like I told you, this is a whole lot of dumpy stuff today, right? Beans. You can use whatever kind of beans you like. Maybe you just use what kind of beans are in the cabinet. Nobody's talking today. I just drove all the way from downtown. Well, I didn't drive, Philip drove. And nobody's speaking to me. I'm a little sad. Watch me go boo-hoo. Boo-hoo-hoo. Come on, say good morning. Say ole, because we're making taco soup. So everybody say ole. O-L-E. Ole. Come on, let me see some oles. Come on. All right, so our beans. Pinto beans, that's the first one. Do we need to drain them? Nope. Just dump it in there. See, I'm trying to make this the easiest. Like you could come home from work and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything. And if you do the hamburger meat like I tell you, right? You pull that out, you pop it in the microwave. You open all the cans. That's the worst part of this. You dump it all in. You put the hamburger meat in. You give it a stir. You bring it to a boil. The family goes, Mom, you're so awesome. Don't cry in the soup, it'll get too salty. Cindy, that's funny. Funny. Ole. Oh, you like taco soup? Good, Sally. Howdy, ole, ole, ole. Ole, 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 ole. See, now I can sing because you guys are all oleing. Okay, so we did the pinto beans. These are light red kidney beans. Again, every recipe you ever looked at said drain your beans. We're not draining the beans because we're in a hurry. We're just making dinner, okay? Now we're dumping in, what are these? Red beans. Something that was in the cabinet. You can use black beans. Look at all of this stuff. So now I got a big thing of water because I was like, oh, I may need some extra stuff. But no, look, can you see that? Look, we got enough juice from all of the different cans that we're doing really good. We might need to add just a little as it cooks, but now we need some seasoning. Seasoning, I tell you. So this is kind of a weird thing I'm gonna tell you. The first thing I'm gonna tell you is to get a package of ranch dressing. Ranch dressing, really? Yep, just go buy it. This is a store brand, so it doesn't matter if you get the real thing or the store brand, and we're gonna sprinkle that in the soup. Sprinkle, we're gonna dump that in there, okay? So this is like a 1 ounce thing. Then you're gonna do a thing of taco seasoning, right? About the same size. Now normally I would just dump in, but I wanna try something new. You just use regular old taco seasoning. But I found this highfalutin seasoning, and it's called Smoky Mexican Chipotle Seasoning. So I just wanna give it a shot. So I'm using that, but I'm telling you, just use a package of regular taco seasoning. But because this is a little yah-yah, I think if I put this whole thing in here, I'd die. So, there we go. So I'm just gonna put in, oh, maybe I'll put in 2. Maybe I won't die. There we go. Oh, maybe I should use the whole thing. Anyway, whole thing of taco seasoning. Whatever brand you like. Store-bought, somebody else's, whatever. Okay, now we're gonna give that a stir because that was our seasoning. That's it, Cindy? Yes. No measuring, Cindy? No. Did we measure anything? No, I measured nothing. I did the onion, the 2 stalks of celery, and the 2 carrots. Is that measuring? No, that's just pulling them out of the bag. A little chop, chop, chop. Put them in a pan with a little oil, a little garlic. Poofy-doo. There we go. Oh my gosh, this looks so good already. Look at that. Look, are you looking? Chunked full of yumminess. If we had corn, it would be bright green. Look, so you can see that I put carrots in there. So we got the tomatoes, all kinds of different kind of beans. We have the hominy in there, the hamburger meat. Oh, so now the only other thing, and again, I know there's a lot of you out there that do not like cilantro, but I do. So we're gonna save some fresh cilantro to put on the top, but because I think fresh herbs make everything, I'm gonna put maybe, I don't know, 1/4 of a cup, 1/2 a cup, 1/4 of a cup of fresh cilantro in there, okay? Stir that, Now everybody's in the party. Yum. Aren't you smelling this? Oh, I just think when you can smell all the taco seasoning. Okay, that's it. There you go. I'm gonna put it on the stove and bring it to a boil, and we'll do something else. You ready? No. Hold on one second. Okay, well, remember I said about the hamburger meat, I really wasn't gonna do this, but since you're here, let me get a baking sheet. Baking sheet, okay? So, because I showed you that I pulled this out of the freezer and it was already in a freezer bag. But that was my last one. My last one, I tell you. You love dump recipes. I know, me too, Eileen. Hi, Judy. Hi, Julia. All right, so baking pan. So, I have to get the pot holders. Oh, okay, so remember, I put it, see the little strainer? This was in the steamer. We had the water in the bottom, and then we just boiled it. I took my wooden spoon and beat it just to break up all the hamburger meat, just salt and pepper. If you eat only Mexican stuff, you can put your Mexican seasoning in here while it cooks. If you eat just 12 tons of Italian stuff, you could put Italian blend stuff. All right, so now you can see, it's hot, lots of steam. I'm just gonna dump this out, more dumping. My whole kitchen is about dumping, isn't it? Now this was, how much was this? 5 pounds, 3 pounds. This was, I think, a 3 pound, This was a 3 pound tube. You know how I am about cheap, right? This was a 3 pound tube of hamburger meat. So, a lot of times I'll do the 5, but you know, it's like what's on sale. And so whatever's on sale is what I buy. So you're just gonna put it on a baking sheet and spread it out. All we're doing is letting it cool because you don't want to put steaming hot stuff in the freezer, right? So there it is, look at that, okay? When it's totally cool, tray o meat, I tell you, when it's totally cool, then you get some freezer bags. What size freezer bags, good morning, Kathy. What size freezer bags you use is wholly up to you. So I think I've told you before, if there's just the two of you and you would use like a pound of hamburger meat, for what I found is a pound of hamburger meat is almost two, like if I grabbed it with my hands, I usually flip the bags inside out, and if you grab it, like 2 grabs, 1 grab is a half a pound, 2 grabs is 1 pound. Anyway, this is 3 pounds. So what you certainly could do is just divide it up and go, you know, divide the pan up, make it a little thing, and then you know exactly this is 1 pound, this is 1 pound, and this is 1 pound. And then you have it in 1 pound bags. If you have a bigger family that eats more, maybe you want, you know, you do the big 5 thing, maybe you want it bigger, maybe you just put all this in 1 bag because your family eats a lot, and then at least it'll be done, okay? So there you go. 2 things we did today. Now let's do the last one. Last one. Now, I'm gonna use just a regular size bowl. You can use any kind of bowl you want. Look at that, isn't that pretty? It's called hidden dragonfly. Do you see the dragonfly? Oh, I think that's so pretty. There, it's not hidden, it's right there. Inside there's one too, see? There it is. And then a spoon. Do you have Polish pottery spoons? Why, yes, yes I do. Okay, you don't need a Polish pottery spoon, but maybe you do. We're gonna make homemade taco seasoning. And the only reason I'm gonna tell you this, good morning, Diane, is that a lot of times we get really kicked off with all the spices from the grocery store, and it is easier. But I used to work for a company, and several of you on here work for the same company, and basically we sold spices. And so I learned we sold what they call like a pantry size of these spices. And I kind of got a little spoiled. You know, I didn't have to go look for individual spices because the mix that I wanted, you know, a tortilla soup or a taco soup or chicken enchilada soup or, you know, an Italian blend, they were already mixed together. I didn't have to think, and I really liked that. And they came in big sizes. And so I kind of like that. And when we're buying these little bitty packages, you have to know that there's like maltodextrin, you know, xantha, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's a lot of things in here. And they're not horrible for you. The thing is they have to put it in there so that it doesn't go rancid, it stays longer, has a bigger shelf life, so I get all that. Hey Carol, I'm glad I guess you're back from Galveston. I hope you had a good trip. So we're gonna make our own. It's really easy, and I'm gonna give you the amount for like one recipe, right? So it's like you were making an envelope of taco seasoning. But then you can use your math skills. Quite frankly, if you don't have good math skills, find your children and say, today's at-home learning lesson in math is, I need you to take this recipe, because this will make 1, and I want it to make 10, right? Multiply everything by 10 and give me what the numbers are. See? You can make your kids do this. That's good. Hi, Linda. All right, so we're going to start off with chili powder. Let me see. My things are not in order. Hold on. I got to pull everything. Let me pull. Okay, we're going to start with chili powder. And we need 1 tablespoon. A tablespoon, that's the big one, right? All right, so 1 tablespoon of chili powder. It's the big one. Hold on. You know, if they're stuck in there and they won't come out, you got to give it a bang. Bang on the cabinet. And wake everybody up in the house. Although, it's 11:30. Everybody should be up. But you know, I have teenage daughters. I assure you that all of them are not up. Are all of your children awake? Have I woken them up? Okay. The next thing we're gonna need is cornstarch. Cornstarch? Yeah. And the cornstarch is gonna help so that it doesn't all stick together, you know, that it doesn't clump. And then the other thing it's almost like a little thickener. So we're gonna need a half a tablespoon, not a half a teaspoon, half a tablespoon, okay? So let me get in here. Cornstarch is what we usually use to make things like gravies thicker. That's what you normally use is cornstarch, although I just use flour. Okay, so half a tablespoon of cornstarch goes in there. We need half a tablespoon of cumin, ground cumin. Now mine is in this cutesy little container. Half a teaspoon. Half a tablespoon. That is not, hold on, I gotta do this. Because the hole is not big enough for the half tablespoon to go up. There's a lot of cumin in that one. Okay, it'll be cumin heavy. Do you do that a lot? Smoked paprika is a half a tablespoon. Almost everything is tablespoon for right now. Smoked paprika. Smell. Has everybody used the smoked paprika? Are you still looking for yeast? Actually, Joanne's not on here today, but Joanne sent me an email, and she lives in a different state, and said she had some, and she was sending me some. So I'm very excited. She's sending me some. So I guess not. I need a half a teaspoon. We have switched to the teaspoon. A half a teaspoon. No. Half a tablespoon. I'm still at the tablespoon. Look at me. The driving, half a tablespoon. There we go. Half a tablespoon. Sugar. Sugar? Oh, yes. Look at all those recipes. They all have sugar in them. And you kind of need it. It's like the salt. You need it in there. Okay, now that's the end of the half a tablespoon things. Now we go down to the teaspoon. We're using all the spoons today. Isn't that exciting? H-E-B has it. Oh, Carol, I'm glad to know that. I'll have to go to H-E-B and get some yeast. All right, so now we're moving to our teaspoon. We're gonna need 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Onion powder, wanna smell? Ooh, onion-y, okay? 1 teaspoon, in we go. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. That's my big one. That's my big one. Big old garlic. This is granulated garlic. You can use granulated garlic or you can use garlic powder. All right. Then we need a teaspoon of oregano. Yeah, pass that. Keep going. Hold on. Half a teaspoon of white pepper. Let me do that. We're not using white pepper. If you have white pepper, use it. I don't have any white pepper. Because really, why? So I'm just using the black pepper. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going back because I forgot the oregano. 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon oregano. See, it's just all the spice, I say it's all the spices that you already have, but I don't know if you have all these. Okay, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon. We used almost every one of them. Almost every one. We're down to the 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now, you can use, if you don't want to use cayenne, you can use red pepper flakes, or if you're a weenie, no. Yes, you're a weenie. No, if you don't like it really spicy, then omit the cayenne pepper or the flakes. Weenie. No, not a weenie. That would be mean. Okay, And then we're gonna need a half a teaspoon of salt. Because remember, everything needs salt. Okay. Did I use everything?
You did not use that. I don't know if you wanted to.
Yes, I used that. That was the first thing we used, chili powder. Okay, now we're gonna give it a stir. See, look at that. Yum. Make sure you break up the cornstarch. Do you see? Make sure you break up the cornstarch in my, I don't know how long that, there we go. But you gotta break it up. That's the only thing that was clumpy. Of all my spices, the only thing that was clumpy was the cornstarch. Like I said, the cornstarch is going to ensure that things don't stick together, and then it's gonna give some thickener to our taco seasoning. Okay, ta and da. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Then, if you have a container, do I have a container to put it in, to keep it in? Just any bowl that has a lid, right? So if you have a bowl that has a lid, it doesn't matter. I save these like when, so like if it comes in something like this and I use it all, then I'll just cover up whatever it is and then stick it in there or put a new label on it. I was lucky, these had labels and they came right off. So see, this is it. Now, so you can see how much it is. Weenie, I know, I shouldn't have said weenie. I'm sure somebody is mad at me because I called them a weenie. I'm sorry. All right, so then I'm just gonna spoon this into here so that you can kind of get an idea. One of the reasons I like this is even if you're not making taco soup, right? So you're making something and you want just a little taco seasoning, like you live by yourself or you're just making a smaller recipe and you need a tablespoon of taco seasoning or even just a teaspoon of taco seasoning. You don't want to have to open the package, right? And then you forget, right? Okay, so this is everything we made, and that's how much it made. So see, I could triple the recipe to fill my little container, right? And then I would have a full container, and I would write taco seasoning on here, and then there we go. Oh, it smells lovely. It is so good. Yum! You need this. You do, you need it. Okay. So we have made a dump taco soup. I love it too. Isn't it awesome? We have made a dump taco soup. I have once again talked to you about hamburger magic. How many of you are not doing hamburger magic? You need to make sure you do hamburger magic. It saves you so much time, so much money, and it's just easy, easy, easy. And then no matter what recipe you need, you just grab it out of the freezer. It's so awesome. And then we learned how to make homemade taco seasoning. I mean, really, that was easy. All you have to do is, get your seasonings and then make it in bulk. Write taco seasoning on here. And that'll last you, like if I had tripled it and made it full, gosh, that's gonna last you a while. Well, in my house, it might last me a month, but a while, don't you think? Good morning, Rebecca, or Kat. It's Becca and Kat. Okay, so that was our homemade. So we pretended like we owned a spice company and we took all the different spices and we made a homemade taco soup seasoning. We used 8,000 cans to make a dump taco soup mix. Now remember, if you don't like meat, don't put meat in there because my friend Kat's on. She's not a big meat person. So Kat, when you rewatch this and you look, you don't have to put any meat in here. You could just use the beans and corn or beans and hominy or whatever you like. Okay, you ready for something? Hold on, I'm gonna have to look. I gotta check. There we go, it's boiling. Hold on. All right, I need these. I don't wanna burn myself. Hey, Becca, you didn't see. I used my little hidden dragon and my cool spoon. Isn't that a cool spoon? I love that spoon. All right, I'll be right back. Stay there. Oh, so heavy. Oh, so heavy. Oh, so heavy. Oh, so heavy. Oh, so good. All right, I'm just gonna use the same bowl that I made the taco seasoning in because I can. All right, you ready? Oh, look how pretty that is. Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna use this pretty bowl because I like this. I like it, it's fun pattern. Okay, look at that. Look at everything that's in there. Hold on. 3 kinds of beans. We did onions, celery and corn. We did, or onion, celery, and carrots, and garlic. We put in hominy, although you could have put in corn, just, you know, whatever you want. We put in crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, and the tomatoes with the diced green chilies in there. All right, now, so here it is. And some of you are like, okay, well, that's lovely and all, but now what? Here's your topping, some suggestions. Oof. You got cheese? Got cheese? I have cheese. Do you have cheese? All right, so you can take some cheese and sprinkle that on the top, right? Some of you say, oh, but I like sour cream. Okay, let's take some sour cream and let's put a dollop of that on there. Although I probably should have put the dollop of sour cream before I put the cheese, right? Okay, there's the sour cream. So we got our cheese. Now we put some more cheese on there because there's never such thing as too many cheese. Maybe we put a little bit more cilantro on the top. La 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 la. Look how beautiful that is. So you can eat it just like this. You can eat it with some corn chips, right? Plain. You could do it with tortilla chips. You can scoop it up. Like you don't even have to have the liquid if you don't want to, right? Kind of like a dip. Use your tortilla chips or your corn chips. If you get the big scoopy ones and just scoop it up like that. Yum. You can put a lot of cheese in there. You can add some more picante sauce if it's not picante-y enough for you. But look at that. Isn't that a beautiful soup? I mean, it's just gorgeous. I'm going to use, I know you're not, here, there we go. You're not really supposed to eat with the bullet. There we go. All right, you ready? I'm going to have some. I'm going in. Although it's very hot. It's boiling. You don't want me to burn my nose. It looks yummy. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Can I make it without cilantro? Carol, I know you don't. I said earlier, if you don't like cilantro, don't use cilantro. Use parsley. That's fine. Flat leaf Italian parsley, though. Not the curly kind. Okay, ready? Everything was cooked. So we brought it to a boil just because we were making all the flavors come together and the seasonings that we put in there. So good. It needs cheese. I like the cheese. Hey, Bitsa. And so it all goes together just like that, right? Even with the chitty chatty. Even with the chitty chatty. We had it all done in 10 minutes. Pop it on the stove. Bring it to a boil. You're done. You've served dinner. And everybody will bow down to you. That was so lovely. I wanted to tell you guys thank you because you were so kind to my daughter yesterday. You know, Philip had that procedure and we had to go down to the medical center because he needed, although the paper said he needed a responsible adult with him. I couldn't figure out why he took me, but there you go. It was a nice opportunity because we were there the night before that we had date night. We haven't had a date night since February, so it was quite lovely. We had really cool food, like confit duck with a Korean sauce. Oh, harissa lamb meatballs with, this feta, polenta, and calabria peppers. Oh my, I mean, it was just everything we ate. We ordered some weird, there was a fried cauliflower that had a feta sauce. Oh, just so good. I'm your favorite cook who inspires. You know what? Everybody inspires me. If there's leftovers, yes, 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 Eileen. You know, my favorite chefs are the ones that are easy and that are realistic. And they're not using, you know, there are some people I think that maybe they've been to an important school and they think they're very important. That's bad to say. But I like to watch everybody and glean a little ideas. And so sometimes they say, use this. And I'll go, oh, I never thought about that. So I like to get ideas from everywhere. But like I said, we went to this restaurant and oh my goodness, the Korean sauce that was on this duck confit and oh my goodness. Oh, and the lamb meatballs. It was just, you know, it had mint in it. It was just, everything was very good. So yeah, Eileen gave you a great idea and I should have said that. So, you know, you have all of this goodness in here, right? You already have your hamburger meat, and you have beans and corn or hominy like we use, and tomatoes. So with whatever's left over, you certainly could take tortillas and then, drain this off, right? So just get it without the sauce and put this in as the filling. Roll them up in your 9x13 and then cover that with enchilada sauce. Or like some people like just to put a can of chili on top. You could do that too. You could put chili on top and then cheese, or enchilada sauce and cheese. And look, quick, easy meals. This is kind of like a meal train, if you would, right? So you make a big thing of taco soup and then you're pretty much ready for the next night to make enchiladas. So that's kind of fun, I hope. I hope you think it's fun. Hey, Kathy Schlosser. Good to see you. Kathy was my oldest daughter's 4-year-old teacher. Wow, I know, since my oldest daughter turns 22 this year. So the doctor is finally home. Yes, he is home. He's still working, but he's home. He's tested negative twice. We have procedures in place for him to get in the house, so all is good and right with the world. So I'm ecstatic. Look, so he gave me this to wear at the hospital today. Isn't that cool? It's called Gator something. I think it's called a gaiter. Gaiter. I think it's what it's called. A neck gaiter. I don't know what it's called. But it doesn't hurt the back of my neck. And it's kind of fun. I feel like I'm a bank robber. Stick 'em up. Stick 'em up. No. So, anyway, there you go. Hey, Debbie. Hi, Erica. Anyway, so we're done. That was so quick and easy. I mean, after I've been up, all the way at the medical center, drive home, quick recipes, and we did 3 things. 3 things. We did hamburger magic. We steamed some hamburger to put in the freezer for later. We made a huge dump 1-pot taco soup. And we learned how to make taco seasoning. Our own, very own homemade taco seasoning. So cool. All right, Mama's tired. Mama needs a nap. Don't forget to, here on Facebook, make sure you follow us. Make sure you like us. Make sure you're a fan. Go to YouTube if you're looking for recipes. Go on our YouTube channel, subscribe, and then whatever video it is, just there's a pull down menu under the little arrow and you can find the recipes. Oh, so easy. I hope you have a lovely day from my kitchen to yours. Ole today with the taco soup. We will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. See you then. Bye-bye.